Let's get ready to rumble!
Apologies to Anthony2749. I missed this super chat in the last hangout, and that's not acceptable. It wasn't deliberate, I just didn't see it. Your contribution, donation is always appreciated. Boxing Social not really telling the truth here, and they know just as much as I do about this recent period in British boxing. They're saying the negotiations fell apart. The truth is Tyson Fury ducked David Price. Tyson Fury won the British title 2011, right? Against Derek Chisora. A battle of unbeatens. Good fight. He won the British and Commonwealth titles. The British Boxing Board of Control ordered Tyson Fury to defend against David Price. They claimed they offered David Price $100,000. That's Mick Hennessy and Tyson. They started saying, oh, this is a great offer, David Price should take it and this and whatnot. And Frank Maloney and David Price wanted the fight to go to purse bids. Before the purse bids went into process, Tyson Fury vacated the title. He vacated the title. And he opted to fight Martin Rogan in Belfast, Northern Ireland, for the Boxing Union of Ireland title. The David Price fight was the fight that the British public wanted to see. Had more status and was more relevant to the British, Commonwealth, European and world rankings. And Tyson Fury opted to fight Martin Rogan.
So what's your reaction to the Price fight then? To be honest, Harrison's the biggest bum inside boxing. And my reaction to David Price and Frank Maloney calling me out that midget, yeah? I'll fight David Price any day of the week. You see you plumber from Liverpool, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
Okay, all right. Thanks Tyson. We're live on Channel 5. All right, go on, one more.
Also, they're going to need 10 plumbers to do you when I've got finished with you. Also, you are getting it. For sure. Call me out. Call me any names, and you are getting it. And you know your gay lover Tony Bellew. I'll fight him in
Okay,
in
all
between
right.
rounds.
Thanks, Tyson. Okay.
Now you would like to think that the fight would have happened, but the window for that British title fight disappeared early 2013 when David Price's world fell apart. He was 15-0 at the time with 14 KOs when he ran into Tony Thompson, who beat him twice in 2013. You know, he busted the David Price myth. They were riding high on David Price. It wasn't about Tyson Fury. It was about David Price, the British champion. He destroyed John McDermott in one round, who arguably beat Tyson Fury. He destroyed him for that British title. We were talking about what would happen if David Price connected with a right hand on Vladimir Klitschko's chin. Is it a worthwhile gamble throwing the 6'8"? I mean, listen, if Tyson Fury's 6'9", and David Price is 6'8", when each time they stand side by side, David Price is taller. It makes no sense. But yeah, it wasn't about Tyson Fury. It was about David Price. That's who it was about. No doubt. Mick Hennessy was talking a load of rubbish. Oh, we've got another fight set up for Channel 5. We can't afford to get in purse bids. All this. What are you talking about? This is how boxing has been done all the time in this country. If you don't come to an agreement on the monies, it goes to a purse bid. It's a duck. Tyson Fury went on to fight for the British title again in a rematch with Derek Chisora, which he won. Very one-sided fight. And as you've seen recently, he had the nerve to revisit that one-sided fight again against Derek Chisora. And now, apparently, he wants to fight David Price in a stadium fight now. He mused on whether the fights against David Price and David HAYE, who pulled out twice of proposed fights for Tyson Fury around 2013, 2014. I'm sure David Price announced his retirement. David HAYE did call Tyson Fury out in 2021 after that strange matchup between him and his friend Joe Fournier. He called out Tyson Fury. So don't write this fight off. Either David HAYE or David Price versus Tyson Fury. Don't write these fights off. And I'm sure Tyson will give them more than the couple of weeks that he gave AJ to sign, because he's literally printing money. And if anyone in the comments section believes that David HAYE or David Price at this stage of their careers is just as hard as Anthony Joshua, you're a soft lad, as David Price would say up that part of the country. You're a soft lad. He said even if the WBC wouldn't sanction the fights, they could do it for the Northwest title of Great Britain. David HAYE's not from the Northwest. There is no Northwest area title If we're talking about regional titles, not English or British or Commonwealth or European, you've got Southern area title, which David HAYE could qualify to fight for, being a Londoner. And let's say Fury fought David Price, they'd fight for the Central area title, which Chris Healy currently occupies. And if my mind serves me correctly, Tyson Fury said he was going to fight him too. He said that's the only belt he hasn't fought for in the country, is the Central area belt. Yeah, he's actually a funny dude, Tyson Fury. Can't say no more of this. Barry McGuigan replied to a tweet saying that you hate Tyson Fury, so you can't give him any credit. This individual believes that Fury would have schooled Lennox Lewis. There is no way Tyson gets knocked spark out by two journeymen like Lennox Lewis did. You see what he did to a proper fighter in Vlad and Wilder, how easy he beat Chisora in his prime and Dillian White. McGuigan said, I don't hate anyone, but I know Lennox Lewis would have destroyed Fury. Compare their resume, there is no comparison. Those are the facts. McGuigan and Fury's spat goes back to 2016 when Fury was making a lot of comments about a lot of issues. And Barry McGuigan tried to chastise him for that, saying Fury was like a child who has no filter, no off button, and described himself as lucky for having tried and failed to sign the 27-year-old. Kids have parents bringing them into line. No one says no to Fury. This is brazen attention-seeking, self-evidently offensive, insulting, abusive, and wrong. If one of my fighters behaved like Fury, he would be out the door, added Barry McGuigan. He instructs his boxers to be humble, make friends, and treat people with respect. They have a responsibility to themselves, to their families, to the sport, and to me. Fury just doesn't get it. He is not only damaging his own reputation, but boxing's too. And Fury came back and said, you are a traitor to your home country. You gave up your Irish title to fight for the British, and you backdoor people in business. Tyson Fury is a confused individual. There's no doubt about that. And I know a little something about 80s boxing, but McGuigan didn't fight for the Irish title. There's some stuff on his early resume that makes for a very interesting read. Like in his third fight, he lost to Peter Eubanks. For some reason, they spelled Peter Eubanks with an S, while Chris doesn't have the S. That's Chris's big brother. Did I once hear a story that Chris got rid of the S to make him stand out from his brothers who he was always trying to impress and get their approval? McGuigan lost the 8-rounder to Eubanks. A few fights later, he avenged the loss. In his fourth fight, he fought Jean-Marc Renaud, a Belgian fighter who was a very busy fighter with a winning record, European champion, and had some very good scalps, Jean-Marc Renaud. And of course, there was the tragic fight with young Ali, who died 5 months after being stretchered out in a coma. And yes, Barry did fight for the British title, but so did Tyson Fury, twice, and won it twice. But yet he's calling Barry McGuigan a traitor. I don't know. One thing for sure, they don't like each other, even till this day. They're saying Tyson Fury missing out on $1 million WWE paydays due to US visa issues. This is, of course, from his association with Daniel Kinahan. According to the Sun newspaper, Tyson was to stand to rake in a few $1 million with the WWE, but their chances now appear slim. Bad year for Daniel Kinahan. Where the Irish government and Irish law enforcement couldn't get near the guy, the American government shut this guy down. They put a $5 million bounty on this man's head and any associates of his Irish organization based in Dubai. Michael Conlon was the first to leave MTK and disassociate himself from Daniel. He was the first boxer. MTK had to shut down operations. That morphed into Pro Bellum, I guess. They're still there, but they lost the lucrative deal with Eurosport to broadcast their cards. Now they're a little in the wilderness in terms of visibility for the likes of Sonny Edwards using the Fight website and whatever menial means to broadcast. Bob Arum, who sang Daniel's praises previously, he flipped on him, cooperated with the US government. He threw Pro Bellum under the bus. Pro Bellum had to do a lot of damage control to stay in the game because Bob didn't hold back. Bob told him everything he knew and some stuff, I guess, that he didn't even know. We don't hear nothing about Daniel Kinahan right now. Is he still in Dubai? Is he still active? Don't know. Tyson Fury, he couldn't move because of his associations. I don't think his brother Tommy could when he was supposed to fight Jake Paul Ben Davison couldn't go across the pond, neither could Matthew Macklin. And there may have been a few more. They wasn't joking. They wasn't joking around. Daniel Kinahan no longer relevant to boxing at this moment. Probably the biggest news story of the year. Mauricio Sulaiman has announced that transgender boxing will be permitted by the organisation from 2023. There was going to be a rant until I found this article from TalkSport. The WBC to allow transgender fighters in boxing in 2023. They will create new separate category. As president, Mauricio Sulaiman insists we will never allow a transgender-born man to fight a woman. So Clarissa Shields got nothing to worry about. She was a little concerned, thinking they were going to permit men to challenge her for her various straps that she has in the game and her GOAT status. But he says they're going to put a global call out for those who are interested in 2023. He says women to man or man to woman transgender will never be allowed. And look, I don't want to be the voice of doom and gloom to anyone else's liberty and freedom, but I feel it's on a road to somewhere bad. Eventually, you're going to get those that are saying, well, why can't transgender women who were born men fight women? And it could go somewhere bad eventually. I just have that feeling. Hey, listen, stop celebrating. You better hold that kid's all right. You better hold that kid's all right, bruh. Woo! What a finish by Wood. What a finish. Wow. Yo, dude, you the man. You are the man. Punched him out of the ropes. What a finish, bruh. Big up Tone in the building, bruh. Mr. Junior G, yeah, he's out, sleeping. You gotta love boxing, bruh. Bring on Leo Santa Cruz. Bring your ass to Nottingham, bruh. Bring your ass to give up that belt. Lee Wood wants it, bruh. Nice uppercut by Fury, man. Nice. That was a championship finish. Worthy of any champion. Like, you know, that was as good as the Larry Holmes uppercut against Weaver. And he was struggling in that Weaver fight. But this, he lined him up with that jab and then, pow. Yeah, Dylan's got knocked out 3 times by uppercuts, yeah? 3 times with uppercuts. Well, you know why I feel bad? Because he had to wait so long for this shot. And then on the night, I don't mind that he got knocked out because Fury was the better guy. But the fact that Fury just closed him out, didn't he? He just closed it. You know what I'm gutted about? I'm saying this in hindsight. I don't think Dylan wanted to fight Fury. I think he knew that Fury's just going to be on a different level. He wanted Wilder. That's who he wanted. And he might not have won that, but he would have done way better against Wilder. He would have done way better. Terence Crawford is not a defensive genius. He's not. He has probably maybe some of the best balance of any boxer frame power shots, though. And you can go to any era. You can go to any era you want. I wouldn't say a notoriously slow starter, but we've seen Crawford start slow. And he started a little slow here, shaking off the ring rust. Got caught by a big right early in the first round. But, you know, he ate it. And Avanesian put up a good fight. Landed his fair share of punches. Definitely not a Euro bum. Definitely not. Crawford's done that to American fighters, European fighters. He's done the same thing to all of them. Crawford was looking for the range, you know, done his switch hitting and stuff, and he was just looking where the placement of the punch was best. And then he teed him up in the 6th with a big right hand and knocked him out cold. Highlight reel knockout. Terence Crawford. He moves on. Free agent. Looking to make the biggest moves he can possible. Which welterweight right now is scoring highlight reel knockouts over the 6th ranked WBO welterweight contender, the 7th ranked IBF ranked contender? Nobody. Terence Crawford is the man. Easily the best finisher in the game. Easily. If he's got you hurt, you know what's coming. What a punch!
Me and Beats are still in shock. We're like, what happened?
Yeah, that was a beauty, man. The way he uncaught that right hand. Beauty. Beauty. You just knew he wasn't getting up. You ain't getting up. You ain't getting up, bro.
Yeah, he was in that mannequin pose. Everything was just completely rigid when he was on his back. Yeah, he ain't getting up. He ain't getting up.
Ronan, he said Cordina had surgery during COVID. He's had issues with his hand for a while, and he was out for over 12 months. So happy for Cordina. Sent shockwaves around the super featherweight division. And see, like, people were counting their eggs before they hatch. Oh, well, Stevenson maybe against Ogawa. Nah, bro. No. Ogawa gone, bro. Gone. Jordan Gill fight. I was worrying about his health at one stage. And after he got knocked down, it looked desperate. Boxing is a tough sport, grueling sport. Like, Jordan got into this wrestling exchange with his opponent. And his opponent landed on the back of his head. Jordan landed right on his cranium. And you could see it visibly hurt him. Whoa. Plus, he was knocked down before that, under pressure. There was a stage where he threw a left hook and missed, and the momentum took him across the ring because he was just on rubber legs. One of his eyes was messed up pretty bad. And there was a counter punch from Jordan before when he was banging trouble, which hurt Kareem Joafi. But somehow Jordan found that KO punch in the ninth to win the European title. That's massive, man. Jordan's had a lot of setbacks in his career. Like, a lot of people may scoff because it's not a world title, but winning an EBU title for a lot of British fighters is a massive achievement. You could tell that Darrell and Caleb Plant didn't like each other. Like, there's quite a bit of fouling going on in there, wrestling each other to the canvas. But some good exchanges, and Darrell landed some good shots, but the ninth round finish from Caleb, he went left hand to the body, left hook to the head, out. Yeah, KO of the year candidate, no doubt. They both had a lot to say pre-fight, and the emotion spilled over post-fight when Caleb got the knockout. He done the dig the grave celebration. That's boxing. The heavily muscled Brock Jarvis, Jeff Fenech trained, actually dates Fenech's daughter, came up against Liam Paro, all-Australian showdown, matchroom card. WBO Global Super Lightweight bout at 140. Liam Paro, 22-0, 13 knockouts. His title was on the line. Brock, 20 wins and 18 knockouts. No surprise, you can look at the physique. Very strong, powerful young man. This was a highly awaited showdown, down under. Unfortunately for Brock, this is not a bodybuilding contest. He looked tense. He was the bigger man, built like a brick S-house. The southpaw stance gave Brock all types of issues. Paro never came square. He came side on in and hid his backhand from Jarvis. And the backhand flashed out in the first round, and it was a sign of things to come. Paro very quick with his right hand jab as well. Not letting Brock set, not for a second. Little short steps, side to side, side to side. Little dirty move. I think hit him with the forearm in the face to let him know he never came here to play. I'm not going to be intimidated either. Because Brock, you can see he's intimidated a few opponents, and when he got inside, he was trying to rip to the body. But Liam tied him up pretty effectively. But nevertheless, you don't want Brock opening up on you, even if the shots ain't hitting clean. Jarvis was making him miss by inches, basically, and the counters were always a threat. Brock, desperate to impress, desperate to add another knockout on his record, kept burrowing forward. And he's done what I've seen a few fighters do recently. He got caught with one backhand from the left hand, and instead of saying, oh, okay, I've got caught, let me regroup, rethink, he walked straight into another one. And even then, it was like, no, I got to burrow my way through his defenses. And the third one put him on his back because he put some mustard on the third one because he knew what was coming. Jarvis did the Trevor Berbick thing where tried to get back, stumbled back onto the canvas a couple of times, and that was it. It was done. It was done right there. The fight was over. Great finish by Liam Paro. Great jab by Tete, though. He landed a similar one in the first. Imagine catching a jab like that and you haven't even took a full-blooded left hand because Tete's a southpaw. There's that jab again. 72-inch reach for a super bantamweight as well. Oh, he's controlling Cunningham behind the jab. The class is showing up here. Cunningham looks like he's gone into survival mode. There's that backhand by Tete. Didn't land too cleanly, I'm assuming. Well, this fight is already showing us that there's a big, big gap between the Jason Cunninghams and the John Real Casimiros. What a jab that is. Beautiful jab. Fourth round, I missed the knockout punch. I had to go back and look at the replay. It was a left cross, very Thomas Hearns-like. Like he shelled up with the right hand and then came back with the left cross. And Cunningham did well to get back up from that. And Tete, he flattened him with the follow-up. Looked like the back of his head bounced off the canvas. Quite a brutal finish. They need to get the oxygen out for Jason Cunningham. Tete later in the year popped for a PED. Kind of spoilt the knockout, but it still stands as a knockout. Ask the British Boxing Board of Control. And that's why I've kept it in the knockouts of the year. Perhaps it shouldn't be in there. Deontay Wilder, he returned to the ring, knocked out Robert Helenius in 1. Was it legit? Did Helenius take a dive? Were the conspiracies? I thought it was legit. Self-destruction. Headed for self-destruction. Tank Davis was talking shit about Conor Benn and Eddie Hearn about how Eddie let this dirty fighter fight and then got caught. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Throwing a lot of shade at the situation when they were protesting their innocence. Now he's protesting his innocence. He's telling everybody that they shouldn't be misguided. And Conor replied today, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house, little man. Gervonta, fair is fair. Fair is fair. Yeah. The Conor Ben Tank feud continued. Tank tells Conor, get off them drugs and come holler at me. I'll show a glass house and a glass jaw, you buck thumb. Fuck bum, innit? You know, the grammar was so bad, it discombobulates your language. Cold bum at that. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight, as long as it's restricted to an actual boxing fight. But it just shows, you know, with so much surrounding his life, this is what he focuses on. And Conor Ben told him, them threats don't work. Focus on staying out of prison. To me, whatever happens with this case, whether the girl drops the charges, whether he gets hemmed up by the system, it's not just this one case, is it? Like, something has to change in his life. I don't know what that is, because he's living his life. I'm not living it. For most of us, we can say, oh, I don't give a fuck what people think about me, and just get on doing what we're doing. We can do that. But when you're in Tank's tax bracket with his notoriety, you have to start thinking about what people think about you. Just a little. There's a lot of people who don't like Tank right now. And some of it could be lies, what they've heard. But some of it, you can see, you can hear with your own 2 ears. Like when Ryan said he tried to run his chain. And Tank responded to Michael Benson's tweet when Ryan said that. And instead of Tank saying, no, that's not true, I didn't do that, he kind of just played up to type to try and impress his fan base. He tried to play up to the stereotype. Al told me to leave it alone because Ryan's calling lawyers, he's getting scared and he might call the fight off. Rather than use that opportunity when he had control to say, no, I didn't touch his chain. With this latest story, you know, he made a statement saying he doesn't have a media team, PR, good lawyer, spokesman or nothing. But the question is how long can he keep winging it for? He needs some protection of some kind of clean-up team if he's going to stay in trouble or get his name in headlines, because you can't just indefinitely do what he's doing and get away with it. I know his fans will disagree with that, but you got to live in the grown-up world, at least a bit. If one of his shits does get to court and there's female jurors in there and they go do a little due diligence on who he is, watch some of his knockouts, that would probably scare them to death. You know, like, Tank got hands, you know what I mean? That alone would scare them. You know what I mean? They might catch some of them videos where I hear him talking some real street shit with Shakur and the N-word and this, that, and you're thinking, wow. The video where he was handling the girl a little rough. There's a lot of stuff out there. And, you know, like, to me, he should have at least waited a couple of weeks to respond to Conor Ben. You know, and to be fair on Tank, I haven't heard him call the race card. Doesn't it go 2 ways? His alleged victim is a black woman. Or is it just a racial issue when they're capping for Gervonta? I'm going to end this here by saying the most puzzling thing to me about all of this is Tank's fans. Oh, I hope you're getting ready to apologise. You see, you got it wrong, and getting all excited and happy. Want to rub it in everyone's faces. Because they're saying apparently the girl is withdrawing her statements or whatnot. But why are you so happy? The question, is this the last time Tank will be in headlines like this? The question, is he just stalling the inevitable? The question, is he going to make changes that need to be made? You know, it's not just Tank. Look at where your head is at. You're not thinking about the future. You're thinking, look. This is where your mentality's at. That mentality can only stall the inevitable for so long. It's not us and them. This is Tank's life. It's all about Tank and what he wants to do with his life. And Vanessa Poso was screaming that Tank was trying to kill her. They've described her as a social media influencer who sells jewelry on her website. But now she's saying Tank didn't harm her or their daughter. He allegedly struck the woman on Tuesday, leaving her with an abrasion on her lip. And that's according to the sheriff's office. So there was something on her lip. Did she injure herself? And he still faces a misdemeanor domestic violence charge of battery causing bodily harm. The police are now obliged to investigate what's going on. So it's not cut and dry yet. It's not cut and dry yet. She's saying she prides herself on being extremely private. This situation was the last thing she wanted to make public. Well, didn't do a good job on that. There was some distress in the household, obviously. She's saying they're going to move on with their lives. They will succeed with their co-parenting dynamic and the counselling provided to them. She could be a psycho. Some women are. She could be a psycho. Or she could have got paid off so this card could go ahead. It's not just as simple as, oh, she made it all up and now all is forgiven, hugs and kisses. But, yo, it's not my business. Let's get on with this Hector Garcia Tank fight Saturday night.